Hello everybody, I am Jim Farrell and we are working with curriculum development this summer, EDUC 5403. And what I want to do with this video is give you a quick introduction to our course, and in the end we'll take a look at Blackboard and see where everything is located in our course. So we're not going to make teams of two, but just to get you started, the first discussion item we have is what is curriculum. So let me tell you how our course is going to work. We will do two things here in the course. And if you've been in my office and we've talked, I've told you this two tracks we do where we work on building your knowledge base, and we also want to develop those skills that go with that knowledge base. And so that's exactly what we're going to do in this course. And you will see two distinct threads going through the course. One of the things is you'll be working on your own curriculum, and we'll get to that. But the other thing is we're going to look at some readings that I've chosen dealing with curriculum and how to effectively build curriculum. And toward the end of our course, the readings are going to get pretty hefty in the sense of concepts, but I want to introduce you to the idea that curriculum is abundant in research, and you will learn that people have many different thoughts about curriculum and the role that curriculum plays, and we'll get into those readings toward the end of class. But this is the first question you're going to answer on day one, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time here, but in order to kind of orient you to what we're going to do in the class, let's look at some other questions. So as a teacher in your class, how do you know what to teach your students? Now I have on here somebody make a list of answers to our questions, but that's what we would do in class. But I just want to walk through this with you so that you understand where we're going in our course. How do we know what to teach our students? That is a great question. And whenever I go work in schools, and I'm frequently in schools, I ask the principal, no matter what, wherever I am, I always ask the principal this first question: how do your teachers know what to teach their students? So quite often we hear the objectives. We're going to see what that means. Okay, we're going to talk about that and go from there. But as we go through these next few questions, these are things that you're going to address on the skill side of our class as you create a curriculum document for your course. So the first one, how do we know what to teach? The second question we're going to ask is, how do we know if our students are ready? If I'm teaching 8th grade social studies, how do I know if my students are ready for my course? Or, and I was a former social studies teacher, if I'm teaching Algebra 1, a big subject in every state, how do we know if students are ready for Algebra 1? And that's a really important thing to know, because we all know that they're going to take an algebra test at the end of the year, a state test. English one's the same way. How do we know if students are ready for that? Or if you're in elementary, how do you know if a student is ready for reading grade 2 or math grade 2? So we're going to talk about that. We're going to build some things into our curriculum documents that help us understand if we know if our students are ready or not. The next question I want to ask is, what does it mean to master the content? And I want to shift you away from whatever, if you're not thinking of content mastery, to this concept of content mastery. That's where we need to be teaching, is to this idea of content mastery. And so what does that mean? And how can we define that so that we're able to check it to see if it's happening? And we're going to do that, and we're going to work on that. The next question, why do we assess our students? not only why, but how. Those are two important questions. And here again, I want to shift your focus, because the common answer here is to see if they learned the content. And that's good. But that's really just a superficial reason why we test our students. Because ultimately, if you think about it, what we're doing is we're testing our students to see if we as teachers did an adequate job of delivering the content to them through our instruction. And if we assess our students and find that we did not do that adequately, meaning that they did not do well in the assessment, then we have to readjust and think differently about assessing our students. It also lets us know if we have a program in place to help students. Let's say we have Math 180, and we put our students on Math 180 one day a week for the whole year to hone their math skills, and we find that we have 15% of our students scoring lower proficient rates than the state. Well, that tells us then that maybe our Math 180 isn't doing what we thought it was or what we wanted it to do. So that's why we assess students. We want to see if we as teachers are delivering instruction adequately, or if our programs are providing the support and interventions adequately that we want them to do. So we're going to talk about assessment quite a bit. Next question. Most students we know are on target. So if you think of a bell curve here, most of the students are going to fit in the middle of that bell curve, that 67% or so. But what about those students who are excelling? How do we work with those students at the top of the bell curve? And then those other students who are at the bottom of the bell curve, not able to meet the standards, if we find out they're below grade level, how do we work with those students? These are all things that should be built into your curriculum, and we're going to work on that too, and how we do that. And then the next and last question here is, what do we use to teach? Do you use anything other than the textbook? Do you use certain web pages? Do you use programs in your class? Maybe some readers if you're an elementary reading teacher. What is it that we use to support the learning that we're giving? And then how do we know if that's a good fit even? What do we use to gauge whether or not the material we're using, including the textbook, is a good fit to meet the objectives that we've listed at the beginning of this question period here? So all those things are going to come into play as you develop your curriculum for the course, the course that you've chosen. And you're going to put them all together, okay? And we'll get to that in just a second. So real quickly, let's look at what our course goals here are. These are broad goals for the course. Provide student with materials, concepts, condition, structure to enable them to explore the existing knowledge base for curriculum development, including human growth and development, learning theory, curriculum development models, philosophies of education. Facilitate scholarship and discussion of current issues that impact curriculum. Encourage students to become aware of probable future trends in curriculum development. Involve students in literature, discussion, and projects that promote an understanding of the democratic values and beliefs that support multicultural education. Facilitate students in refining their own philosophies of education through the discussion and scholarly activities. And our last goal is kind of a reiteration of what we saw a while ago, this multicultural diversity and global awareness component. And we will touch on that just slightly toward the end of our course. Student learning outcomes. This is what you will be able to do at the end of the course. Articulate the role curriculum plays in educational settings. Assess the curriculum in your own classrooms. And demonstrate an understanding of assessment as it relates to the effectiveness of curriculum. So those are our goals and those are our outcomes for our course. So how are we going to do this? Here is what I want you to do. So rather quickly, because we do have a very condensed course, you will choose one subject at your grade level. So if you are a third grade teacher, choose one subject. Same, whatever. If you're an elective teacher, for example, if your elective is business, then choose a course that you would teach within the business class. If your elective is drama, then choose a course that you teach. Whatever it is, I want you to find all the curriculum documents your district uses for that particular course. If you are something like an ESL coordinator, okay, you may not have a specific course at that point, then you can choose a topic that you're most familiar with, such as maybe ELA, maybe that was your background, or math was your background. Whatever your background is, I want you to choose one specific course grade level topic. So it might be 7th grade math, English 1, physiology, physics, kindergarten reading, whatever it is. I want you to choose one grade level and one course and find all the curriculum documents your district has to offer on that, because we're going to build on that. You will create the curriculum guide for the course that you choose. Again, you're going to build onto it. Some districts have better developed curriculum guides than others. Some districts have absolutely nothing. You will be starting from zero. You will create a quality curriculum guide for your subject and course and present this to our class at the end of the semester. And in the meantime, you will conduct readings and discussion boards throughout the course. So that's how we're going to accomplish these two goals of building your knowledge and increasing your skills. So your grades in this course, the grades are simple. They add up to 100 points. Your curriculum guides that you will develop, there are 5 checkpoints. Each one is worth 50 points. The presentation that you do at the end of the class will be very straightforward. It was worth 10 points. The discussion boards, we have 10 of them. They are all over readings, and they are worth 4 points each for a total of 40 points, and therefore you will have 100 points. So with that, what I want to do is highlight the discussion board, because that's a very important piece in our class. And this is the rubric we will use for our discussion board. And you can see it's a 4-point rubric. So everything will add up to 4 points if you're on target. You have a chance to get a half a point, and you have a chance to get 0 points. We're going to look at discussion boards in just a second. But let's go through the rubric. So you're going to be asked to make an initial post. This is responding to the question. So to get the full 1 point, you present unique, fully developed ideas addressing all aspects of the assigned tasks. You connect the module content with other aspects of the course content, and you're going to cite the material you read. So in other words, whatever I give you to read for the discussion board, you're going to cite specific things in the reading. And all you need to do is put parenthetical citations. So you can just say English and Steffi, page 10 or whatever. You don't need to give me the whole reference at the end. Okay, just tell us the author and page number of where you're getting it. And remember, in APA, that's really direct quotes. So I want you to pull quotes out, not massive quotes. I don't want a post of massive quotes. 1 or 2 quotes to pull to make the point that you're addressing. That's a full point. A half a point presents ideas that may be lacking in development. You may not cite your reading material. So the main difference here is that either your idea is fully developed or you just mention something without developing it. Okay? Contribution. This is important. All your posts will need to be distributed over a 2-day period at a minimum. Your initial post counts as 1, and then your other 2 posts will count as 2. So you need a total of 3 posts, your initial plus 2, and your 2 need to respond to 2 or more colleagues in the class before the due date. So if you do that, you get the 1 point. A half a point, you submit all postings during 1 day, and you respond to 2 colleagues before the due date. 0 points, you respond to fewer than 2 colleagues, or you fail to post before the due date. We're going to look at these a little bit closer. I will tell you your discussion boards will appear the day before they begin, and they will remain open until the day after they technically close. Okay, and then they will disappear, so you won't see them anymore. So the main point here is that you're going to make 3 posts, your initial one, and then 2 others. In the 2 other posts, you need to respond to at least 2 different classmates, and you need to spread these 3 posts out over a 2-day period. The reason for this, the logic behind this, is that I want you to respond to 2 different people, because I want you to think in 2 different mindsets here. If you were to just respond to 1 person, then what that would do would kind of trap you into just dialogue with the 1 person. But by responding to 2, you get to see 2 different perspectives on similar topics. So that's why I want you to respond to 2 different people. Your responses, when you are responding to your 2 colleagues, they expand the discussion by providing alternative perspective on the topic, sharing relevant resources, or asking questions that further the discussion. The best thing here is to simply ask for questioning, or ask clarification questions, or ask, did you consider this? That kind of stuff expands the discussion. That will get you the full 1 point. If you simply say, I agree, I had a similar experience, blah, 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 that's contributing, but it's not really expanding the discussion, so that would only get you a half a point. Okay, so that's the difference in the responses. And then finally, professionalism. Here the professionalism, the main thing here is communicating. When you do a discussion post, I want you to respond to the person with their first name. So you can say, Jim, comma, this is what I think of your statement about, and then you could quote it, whatever, and then end it with your name, Brad, or whatever, Sue. If you do that, minimal APA or practically no APA errors, you're going to get the full point. If you just respond without that introduction and you have a few APA errors, you're going to get a half a point. Okay. I really have never encountered unprofessional post and graduate work, so I'm not concerned about that. Just be professional in the way you respond by citing a name or multiple names and then signing off with your name. Okay? So with that said, let's take a look at Blackboard. Okay, so now we are looking at our course in Blackboard, and I have it on student view so that you can see we're looking at exactly what you would be looking at. So let's go through this real quickly and look at a few things. First of all, you've obviously started with the Start Here page, because I've told you how to begin the course. There is a little information about myself, technology, if you have questions about technology. Main thing here is this is the number for IT, and call IT if you have any questions about technology. They will help you. But I tell you what to do here, so I also tell you to go to the syllabus. A couple of things here. First of all, let's open the syllabus. As that's opening, we'll look down here. I provide you a course calendar. Your discussion board 0. This is the only discussion board where you can just make one post and it automatically kicks over for grading. And then there's the syllabus course introduction quiz that you can take. Doing those two things on day 1 will, today, July the 3rd, will get you up to 5 bonus points. Okay? So let's look at the syllabus real quick. I want to just highlight a few things in the syllabus. I give you my office number, but my cell phone is the easiest and best way to get a hold of me. So please text me or call me. If it's the first time texting, tell me who you are. I do have virtual office hours, which means we'll meet online, and I will show you how to access that. So here are a lot of things that we covered. The goals, the outcomes of our course. So a few important things here: phone calls and emails. Basically here I will get back to you within 24 hours. Monday through Friday, noonish. If you email me or text me after Friday at noon, depending on what I'm doing, or over the weekend, I will respond to you on Monday. Okay? The due dates, we'll come back to the out of the country piece. The due dates, we're on a very condensed schedule. Okay? So it is imperative you work on the assignments and have them submitted by the due dates. All dates are listed in the course calendar. Everything is due that last week by July the 27th at 5 o'clock. You're going to have a lot of stuff due way before then, but that's the end there. Discussion boards, we've talked about that. I've told you about the rubric. Bonus points, you can get up to 5 bonus points. If we look at our courses, here's what I told you. We have 10 discussion boards worth a total of 40 points. Your checkpoints worth 50 points. Your presentation self-assessment worth 10 points. So when we look at our course calendar then, and this is the same thing, we don't need this anymore, just to show you here. You can see July 3rd. I'm telling you exactly what to do this day. Watch video 1, Introduction to the Course, locate your curriculum. Read Downey et al. 1, respond to discussion board 1 by July the 5th. The discussion boards are very quick. Okay? So keep in mind, important thing here about doing online class. Online class basically means that you're able to work independent of coming to a regularly scheduled class. That doesn't mean, though, that we don't have hard deadlines. And so be aware, we have an assignment to work on during July the 4th, and I realize everybody will be celebrating July the 4th, and that's fine, but you have assignments. Okay? So you can see then July the 4th, working with objectives. How do we know what to teach? You're going to watch video 2. You will read Downey et al. 2. You will work on discussion board 1, which is due on July the 5th. Continue working toward checkpoint 1. This is in the video. Respond to discussion board 2. So notice that July 5th, the discussion board ends here. We're going to start working on discussion board 2, and I tell you it's due July the 9th. And this time, we're going to read English and Steffi 1. And then Thursday on July the 6th, continue working on discussion board 2, submit checkpoint 1. Okay? So, it's a very fast-paced course. So just keep that in mind as you're working through it. Now let's see what the rest of our things here are. You will always enter the course on the announcements page. Every announcement I make will go to your NSU email only, so please be sure and check your NSU email. If you have If you use another email account like Yahoo or something, you can forward your NSU email account to your email account. So be aware of that, and please do that. One thing I did forget to mention, let's open the syllabus again real quick. I said we'd come back to it and I forgot. So notice here I said that I'll be out of the country. So I will be working with the school out of the country, and we leave on July the 20th. And so for a short time, from the 20th to the 23rd, I will not have internet access. So please just email me. That's a Thursday. I think the 20th is on Thursday. Yeah, so you can see here the 20th is on a Thursday, and then I will definitely have email access most likely by the 23rd, maybe even the 22nd, okay? But I put in here the 23rd or the 24th just to be sure, but it might be as fast as the 22nd. And we'll do this the last week of class. So it just means that last week you won't be able to text me or call me, but you will be able to email. The time difference is 8 hours. I'll be 8 hours ahead of you. So if you're working at night, I typically am looking at things at night. And so that means if it's on a Monday night, if you're doing stuff on a Monday night here, I won't look at it until that next or Tuesday morning, because it'll be Tuesday night where I'll be working with the schools. So anyway, just be aware of that. It won't affect anything we do, other than the fact that you won't be able to text or email or text me or call me. But please email, and I will work on those emails. The other thing that it will not do is we will not have those virtual office hours those last 4 days of class. So please work through emails, and I will get on emails, and we'll communicate back and forth through email. So just wanted to point that out. But when we do have virtual hours, all you need to do under virtual classroom is click on the week, and then click on Dr. Farrell Virtual Office, and let's see what this does here. Click on that one more time, and it will open up. Now I will already be in there, so you won't need to click on anything. It'll just open up for you, okay? So that's how it'll work. If you have to have a microphone in order for this to work. I would prefer that you also have a camera so we can see you, but that's not required at this time. But you do need a microphone in order to talk to the class. If you want to come by the office, I will be in Broken Arrow unless otherwise stated. If there are students in Tahlequah and Muskogee and you want me to come by, I will do that. I am sharing this class, these virtual hours, with another class. So we may have to prioritize a little bit if we have two people from two different classes asking two different questions, okay? But we're going to try this and see how this works. And I will get the virtual office hours listed under here for July the 17th through the 19th, okay? Since I leave on the 20th, we won't have any hours after the 20th. Your class readings, these are the materials that we will read for the class. Anything that extends beyond copyright laws, I have permission to use the material, and we will work through them. Your checkpoints, these are the main things where you will submit your curriculum guides as you're developing them. All this will make sense to you, I promise. The PowerPoints, this is where you will find all the PowerPoints for the class. And the discussion board. So this is an important thing. I want to show you the discussion board. So right now you only see two. Discussion board 0 which will remain open, but you're only going to get credit if you submit the first day. This is a bonus though, so it's fine. And discussion board 1. Notice I'm telling you this is due Tuesday, July the 5th. So it will stay open until Wednesday at midnight. And when I say things are due on a certain day, it's always at midnight of that day. Okay? In order to access the discussion board, all you do is click on the discussion board, and you have two options. If you want to see what somebody has written, you click on the thread, and you can see it and you can reply to it. Or if you want to create your own thread, you create your thread, and when you hit create thread, there's the prompt that you need. You have to have a subject. I suggest your name, and then your response, and click submit. Okay? And that's how you do that for the discussion boards. If you're the first person in a discussion board, let's say you go to discussion board 1 and you're the very first person, there's nothing here, then you're obviously going to create a thread. There's the prompt. You're going to give it a title. Here, again, I would recommend your name, followed by something if you want, but give your name and your response to whatever I ask up here. Okay? So that is a quick tour of our course. I look forward to working with everybody. This is one of my favorite courses to teach, and during the virtual classrooms we'll get a chance to expand on what I'm doing overseas and how I'm using this very stuff that you're doing and taking it overseas. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me and let me answer all I can.